believe today, Monday, was Ed Scott's first official day. Is that true, Gabe? Am I right on that?
It is his first official day. When this comes out, it'll be his second official day.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do quickly, and like I said, then we're going to move on after this, is in his first 100 days, so whatever that falls on, because my math's not that good. That's a little bit before the end of the year, if I'm not mistaken. What do you want to see from Ed Scott? We've gotten fired up by his press conference and the way that he talked to the football team in the weight room and all that stuff, but what can he do in his first 100 days for it to be a successful beginning of his tenure?
Secure $15 million worth of the additional stadium funds. If you can get to 25 in the first 100 days, hell yeah. Good for you, brother. That's why we brought you here. You secured the single largest donation in HBCU history at Morgan State. If you can go ahead and get $25 million before the end of the year and get phase 3 going, sure, I am all down. But I'm going to set it at $15 million. You can get $15 million in the first 100 days. We feel like we should be well on our way to getting the 25 that's necessary to finish stadium renovation. So that's one. Another thing I want to see him do, I think that there needs to be an understanding, a relationship built with him and Penny Hardaway that's not there already. Go figure out what he needs, what he wants, how he operates his program. You can make some tweaks, but also you're going to have to run that by him. But I think any AD that steps into this situation, if you want Penny Hardaway to be here long-term, like we all want him to be here. I know some people get like lost and say, oh, we just hate on Penny Hardaway all the time. All of us want him to be here long-term. I think that starts with any AD that comes in here having a good relationship, and then the athletic department following suit, having a good relationship with Penny Hardaway. So everyone is on the same page, because we've seen in the past that we've been on different pages, the athletic department and Penny Hardaway at certain times. I think, the third thing I'd say, and I'm just sort of spitballing here a little bit, I just want to see more selling of the program out in the public eye, creating a bigger brand. But obviously that just comes with finishing your projects, having good products on the field, and continuing to strive for bigger and better things right now. But with that brand exposure, building that brand up, the hope would be, okay, ACC, Big 12, where you at? What you thinking? What are we doing to get ready right now? Are we accomplishing everything we need to get ready to make that jump when the call comes?
Yeah, I think those are all great and all things that I agree with. And I'll close it out with one more point, and that's just to continue the momentum that has been built within the NIL collectives, and continue being the ambassador for that, the face of that. And also continuing to build that outside of like FedEx and these big, I mean, obviously they're huge and they're important, and the University of Memphis athletic department needs those big donations and stuff, but making it even bigger than that. Like if it's even 60% big enough to say we wouldn't even need anything from FedEx and we'd be totally fine. Like I think that should be the goal. I think that Ed Scott should continue to build that up. And obviously that takes time, that takes success on every aspect of the athletic department, on the field, on the court, on the whatever, on whatever playing surface you want to talk about. There's that part of it also. But if, like you're saying, if he's being an ambassador for the program, if he's building the brand, then those things come with it. And I think continuing to build an NIL presence is going to be critical for the University of Memphis moving forward into the future.
Yeah, and one thing I neglected to mention, and this is something we could have a little bit of a conversation about. I don't know how much, but this athletic department, since Laird left, boy, there's a lot of open positions. There's SID for football, SID for basketball, overall SID. You have a deputy athletic director position open since Jeff Crane left, and I was sad to see Jeff leave, by the way.
Yeah,
that was tough. I mean, he was the glue guy for this whole thing. I mean, to be able to help facilitate the renovations and the FedEx deal almost at the same time, Jeff, I mean, we should always be indebted to Jeff for the work he did in Memphis over all these years. But you have a deputy athletic director you're going to go hire. So also another thing he's going to have to get done in 100 days, hire the right people for the positions. Go hire the people that you are familiar with, that can do the job right, and that could be another goal for the first 100 days. What do you make of all the people out. Like I part of me wants to be like, oh, like ask questions. Does something stink? But part of me also understands layered out, new AD,
right?
They're not familiar with other jobs out there for the taking with the success that they have had at this program. Maybe it was just time to make that all happen anyway, and maybe there's nothing going on behind the scenes that's that bad.
I don't think there is. I don't think it necessarily points to that. I think it just is part of this process, like bringing in a new AD and having the success that the University of Memphis athletic department overall has had brings in opportunities. Like you mentioned, Jeff Crane. I mean, sure, I'm sure he would have loved to stay at Memphis and probably would have been if he was offered the head job.
He took a step up in job. He's in the SEC in the same position.
Right. How do you
at South Carolina for those that don't?
Right, for South Carolina at South Carolina. How do you turn that down with getting that job opportunity? And obviously, I would imagine his goal was to continue climbing the ladder, and to continue climbing the ladder, being noticed at a bigger program is
that looks good on your resume.
Right. It's an upward move, which is what you do in the career field. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't think you can blame him there. I think all of it honestly is just part of it. At least right now, I don't think it's any cause.
It kind of reminds me of just generally speaking, a coaching switch in football.
Right. Very similar.
Right. Where you're going to have maybe some carryovers in the support staff and the support roles. And maybe you'll have like one assistant coach stay over because he's familiar with the place. And he's a school legend, and you keep him around. Daryl Dickey was that guy through all of these different changes, whether from Fuente to Norvell, he stuck around. But a lot of the staff is going to turn over, and you turn it over to other capable hands that person is familiar with. I don't think it's that much different.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think last point, and then we'll get on to a quick break in the hot three, is that it's a lot easier to leave a place when the person that hired you is no longer there. There's a different, I would imagine there's a different level of security that comes with being up under the person who handpicked you to be there, not someone that's saying, okay, you can stay for whatever reason.
Right.
Not that they're not doing their due diligence, because that's just not the way this game works. But it's not the person that brought you in initially and hired you and decided that you were perfect for that role. So I think that plays a role as well.